So I told Kyle, if you want to call me, you have to be nice because my dad'll answer, and he said he shouldn't have to be nice because he's just too real. But I still gave him my number, and he did call me, and my dad said, hey, sorry to interrupt, Missy. Oh, hey, Dweeb, what's up? Nothing. Okay. Oh, actually, I saw you at a tape player, and I was wondering, is it JVC or Panasonic or Sony? Oh, I don't know. I don't know tech stuff. Yeah, but probably JVC or Panasonic or Sony. Most tape players you can buy around here are one of those. Okay, I'm sorry to bother you. Bye. What a dweeb. I have lots of little quirks that most normal people don't have. I have a favorite spoon, and I get grumpy if I can't find it. I mentally rank thrift stores based on smell, and I still think that finding a cool rock is a pretty solid day. But one of my little quirks that I'm pretty sure a lot of you out there share with me is the pure joy of changing a physical cartridge in a game system. The feel of pushing it into place, the little ka-chunk that hits you right in the soul, it's glorious. And if you disagree, I respect your opinion. It's a terrible opinion, but I do respect it. Now, to be honest, I'm not really an original hardware gamer anymore. Apart from maybe the Switch 2 and the occasional DS thing, basically everything I want to play is better for me through emulation. I'm not dogmatic about it. I'll play games however they're best enjoyed, but for me, emulation wins almost every time. And yet, there is one thing I do miss. Having friends. Just kidding, I never had friends. I do miss the physical stuff, the cartridges, the ritual, the act of choosing a game and physically slotting it into a system. A tiny rectangle of plastic containing an entire world. Tiny magic rectangles. I miss those. A lot of us, most of us probably, grew up with physical media. Digging through bins of used games, hunting for treasure, holding the actual thing you were about to experience. Emulation gives us a lot, but it doesn't really give us that. Mostly. Because with emulation, we still have SD cards. Now, don't laugh, I know, they're not as chunky and satisfying as old game cartridges, obviously, but they're still physical objects, little survivors from a time when media lived in your hands instead of floating around in the cloud or internal storage like some kind of digital ghost. I got the idea for this video while updating Onion OS and some ROM sets on my MIYOO Mini collection. Each one has its own SD card and front end setup, and as I was swapping the cards around, I kinda chuckled to myself. Because swapping those little SD cards sorta felt like swapping tiny little mini game cartridges. And then I realized they kind of are. Popping one into a handheld is sorta like inserting a physical game into a console. I mean, a little bit, if you squint. We're going for vibes here. You've probably seen people talk about keeping a very small game collection on a handheld, like having only a handful of games on a console just to stay focused. It's a neat idea, and I've done it before, but the problem is my tastes change constantly. One week I want dungeon crawlers, and then the next I want racing games, and then beat 'em ups, then adventure games. I don't choose the genres. The genres choose me. Usually for about 6 days. So what if we could have focused collections for different moods, swap between them whenever we wanted, and bring back a little bit of that physical cartridge magic at the same time? Treating SD cards like homemade mixtape game cartridges is what I'm saying. Surely that's an idea that only a complete lunatic would have, and then make an entire video about it. And we're back. I'm your host, DJ Dweeb, and I hope you enjoyed that compilation of my favorite TV show theme songs that I liked when I was a kid. But no mixtape is complete without some solid tunes, so let's cut loose with a few sick tracks from DJ Dweeb's favorite video games. Starting with the one, the only. When I show you how to do this in a bit, it'll be a lot simpler for you than how I did it, but I want to walk you through how all this came together for me because I don't know why. I just want to tell you, I don't need a good reason. When I was working on my recent retro beat 'em ups video, I had beat 'em ups on the brain. I was also noodling the concept of using a completely separate SD card dedicated to a single genre. So this was my chance, and I wanted to just try this thing that I had on my brain. Since Onion OS is awesome and doesn't require flashing a whole new image, all I had to do was copy over my existing card, leave out the ROM folder, and then add only the beat 'em up games. So I looked up a list of all the retro beat 'em ups, and I went through each system and I added just those games. It sounds like it would take a while, but it really didn't take that long. Like 10 minutes maybe. In the end, I had this Onion OS build with just beat 'em up games. My beat 'em ups mixtape. I'm calling them mixtapes for the rest of the video, by the way. I also figured that this mixtape would feel funner if it had its own visual style too after you popped it in and turned it on. So in Onion OS, instead of using my usual TechDweeb theme, I picked a different front-end theme that matched the vibe. I honestly had so much fun doing that once I finished that card, I immediately got to work making more. I made a dungeon crawler mixtape just for, old school dungeon crawlers, a racing game mixtape of nothing but retro racers, and a DOS game mixtape. As you know, I'm nuts about DOS games, and like I mentioned in my MIYOO Mini Plus video, playing DOS games on this thing is so fun to me. So now I have a mixtape of just DOS stuff for when I'm in that mood. The funny thing is that I originally planned for this to be nothing more than just a few SD cards sitting in a little plastic case like this one here. But then the disease progressed. Because I realized micro SD cards fit into full-size SD adapters, and those full-sized SD cards are almost the exact size as Switch cartridges. I have this lovely Nintendo Switch cartridge carrying case, and these fit perfectly in there. I've actually had some questions about this thing. I use it as a prop in my videos all the time. That's what this is. It's a Switch case that I bought on Amazon. This is made by ELAGO. I'll link to this in the thingy below if you want to grab one for yourself. And then it hit me. One of my favorite parts of making mixtapes was decorating the tapes, and I could kind of do that. I mean, obviously I couldn't decorate the micro SD cards themselves because they're too tiny, but I could decorate the adapters. So yeah, I did. Right now, they're just little hand-drawn labels on little white stickers. Eventually, I might make proper printed labels, like make them all professional looking, but honestly, I kind of like the homemade look. They're scrappy and imperfect, and they feel like something teenage me would have made while listening to music and avoiding homework. And here's the weird part. It actually works. Not technically. Obviously, it works technically. I mean, it works emotionally. Instead of staring at 10,000 games and immediately forgetting what kind of game I wanted to play, I grab whichever mixtape matches my mood and pop it in. Dungeon crawlers, racing games, beat 'em ups, DOS games, whatever phase I'm currently going through. Well, those are the ones I've made so far, but there's more to come. It scratches that physical cartridge itch just enough to make my brain happy. More importantly, it captures the feeling of a mixtape, a curated collection built around a specific mood instead of an endless pile of options. So far, I've only done genres, but now I wanna get weirder with it. Like picture a dark fantasy game mixtape, or a post-apocalyptic mixtape, or a cozy rainy day mixtape, or a cyberpunk futuristic mixtape. The more I think about it, the more I like this idea, like building collections around feelings instead of genres. The way that a good music mixtape can jump between completely different artists and genres but still create a specific vibe. I think that games can do that too. And now future me has another completely unnecessary project to obsess over, which is great because I was running dangerously low on those. And then he said that if I wanted to see his new car, I'd have to compliment his muscles. So I said, yeah, you have nice muscles. And then Kyle said that nice wasn't good enough. So then he showed me his muscles again and he said that they were way better than nice. And they totally were. So I said they were amazing muscles. And he said, okay, that's good. And then Kyle showed me his car and it was super red and shiny. And the engine was so loud it hurt my ears. But I pretended it sounded awesome because he seemed... But I'm not just here to show you, I'm gonna try to give you some information about how to do this yourself. Let's quickly cover what you need for this, and really all you need is SD cards for however many mixtapes you want to make. Now, SD cards are really expensive these days, for reasons. The price is a lot more than it used to be even just like a few months ago, but here's the thing, you don't need massive cards for this. Since we're just putting on a handful of ROMs, you could totally get away with 64 gigabyte cards, or even less if you can find them. I'll link to a few cheap 5-pack SD card bundles on Amazon if you're buying cards. However, if you're doing the case thing, you'll need SD card adapters and something to hold them. For the full full-size SD card adapters, those usually come with cards when you buy micro SD cards individually. I have a whole box of these things from various SD card purchases that I never use, so those were fine for me, but if you need these, then make sure whatever SD cards you buy come with them. And for the case, you can actually use tons of Switch game cart cases. These full-sized SD card adapters usually fit in those because they're around the same size. Like I said, this ELAGO one that I used here can be found linked below if you want this one, but shop around and pick something that suits your vibe. Now, the one caveat here is that the method that you're going to use to actually make your cards will depend on the device you have and the system it runs. Like if you have a MIYOO Mini, you're going to be making Onion OS cards, which are easy because you can just copy the system files between them. But if you have an Amberlic XX device, you're going to be flashing cards with the operating system image. I would personally use Newly for that, and I'll link to my latest Newly guide in the thingy below. If you're on Android, this is kind of awkward because Android treats each SD card as its own thing. So you can't just swap the card and expect everything to work every time. This isn't even something that I would personally bother with on Android because it doesn't feel the same way as it does on my little handhelds like the MIYOO Mini Plus. Those feel more kinda console-like compared to Android. The important part is the games. When you go to copy your games, take your time and really think about what games fit the mood of this mixtape you're working on. Channel your inner 80s or 90s teenager and turn the games you pick into an art form. If you do the adapter thing, decorate it. You can even just cut yourself a little piece of paper and draw on it and then glue it on there or whatever. It doesn't need to be fancy, but a little personalization can go a long way in setting the vibe of your mixtape. It's the whole package, you know? Yeah, you do. Hey, Missy, how's it, Dweeb? Oh my gosh, it's him. It's DJ Dweeb. Wow, the famous DJ Dweeb. I can't believe we have an actual DJ here at our school. Can I have your autograph, DJ Dweeb? Can you play us some of your favorite cartoon themes, DJ Dweeb? And video games? Listen, Dweeb, don't...
Heads up, muscles coming through. Out of the way, dork. Check out these guns.
Hey, Kyle. I went into this little experiment not really knowing what to expect. It's just some little weirdo idea I had and I thought it would be fun to try. I didn't intend on it being any more than just something I did once just to see what it was like, but it ended up being such a unique way to think about retro games. I mean, sometimes it feels like we don't have lots of options. It's like you can take the route where you curate a tight little ROM list with just a handful of games and stick to just those games. And then when you want to try some new games, you got to go and add those games and then remove the others at the same time if you want to be all minimalist. That's one option. Or on the other end of the spectrum, you can add all the games ever so that you have any game you could ever want to play, but then you're always needing to scroll through massive lists of games looking for what to play. This is a whole different paradigm. Making mixtapes of your games means that you can create these fun little ROM sets that all feel like part of a thing, of a picture that you're trying to put together. But it's easy enough to swap out that mixtape for another when you're in the mood for a different vibe. And I've found that having this little collection mixtapes that I made, it's focused. When I want racing games, I don't need to burn myself out looking through a list of thousands of games trying to find racing games and keep them all in my mind while I try to pick between them. I can just pop in my racing games mixtape. I can still bounce between games, but it's all games that scratch that same itch, and I'm not doomed to get distracted by some other completely different thing in my game collection. And also, this brings back a bit of the feeling of physical media. When I have my little collection of mixtapes in here in my card holder and I actually swap between them, it sort of feels the way it did back in the day, having a pouch full of your Game Boy carts. I mean, yeah, it's an artificial way to bring the physical media sensations to retro handhelds, but for me at least, it tricks my brain just enough to get the emotional buy-in. But my brain is easily tricked, to be fair. It's pretty dumb. And part of me wishes that this was like a thing that we all did. It would never work because we'd all need the same device, so our SD cards would be compatible. But picture this. Picture a world where we all had a MIYOO Mini Plus. That's the handle that I choose for this because it's cheap and easy to make SD cards for, and it's great. Picture we all had that, and then we all got into making these mixtape SD cards with our own custom game sets and themes, and we'd be able to trade them with each other or make them for each other as gifts. gifts. And if we just kept them in the adapters, we could have our own handmade stickers on them. Just like making mixtapes for your friends was back in the 90s. We can make this a thing. Everybody, we gotta work together. Go and buy a MIYOO Mini Plus and some SD cards and make some mixtapes. Let's make this a thing. This is a totally realistic and reasonable request. Trust me. But even if it's never actually a thing, doing this for myself has been just fun. It's a new, fun way to think about retro games and emulation. Being able to get a bit creative with my MIYOO Mini Plus and the retro games that I love. Every time I think I've figured out everything there is to know about this hobby, there I am bored on a Friday night, and I come up with something totally new. I don't know what that says about me or my social life, but we don't have to get into that right now. Anyways, that's it. That's what I wanted to show you. I'd love to know what you think about this idea. Do you think it's cool or stupid and useless and pointless waste of time and I should get a life or whatever? That's fine. Just let me know in the comments. And that'll do it for me for today. Click the thumbs up button if you like the video and subscribe if you like the video and click the notification button if you liked it too. Please click the buttons, all the buttons. I'm TechDweeb. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Hey, Mom. Hey, Dweeb. How was school? Oh, it was really good, Mom. Like always. Oh, great. I'm just getting ready to head out for my night job. There's leftovers in the fridge for dinner. Okay, I'm just gonna do my homework first. Night-night, Dweeb. Night, Mom. Oh, what's this? Huh. Oh my god!
Is this too loud? Hang on.
Hello? I think it's working. Hello, I'm DJ Missy, and I just want to say I like when people do nice things and my friends are not so nice. Sorry. And I just thought that you might like to hear some music that I like, and I hope that you like it too. Hang on. I thought, how do I stop the recording?